Ready to go to a disco? Let's make a three-dimensional disco ball as well as make it sparkle and shine. For this, you'll need paper, coloring markers, a cup of water, and a paintbrush. Oh, and a bowl to trace your circle with. So go grab a bowl, piece of paper, and let's get started. Place the bowl on your piece of paper, kind of nearish the top, and trace around it. You'll notice I'm not using a permanent marker, but what I refer to as a coloring marker. Draw a vertical line going straight down the middle, and then away from that, make a curved line that has a gradual curve. It gets a little bit more curved as it gets toward the side of the circle. Do a mirror image of that same process since we're making a mirror ball, and then you're going to need to do that horizontally. So draw a horizontal line right through the middle, make a gradual arch line that goes down, and then we'll repeat that going back up. It's going to look a bit like a globe, which that gives you an idea also on how to draw other three-dimensional spheres. Would you look at that? I just took my artwork into the third dimension. It has height, it has width, and now it has depth. Next up, let's go ahead and add a little bit of color around the edges. Again, I'm using my coloring markers, and I'm going in Roy G. Biv, otherwise known as rainbow order. The reason I'm doing this is because, hello, rainbows are awesome. And the other reason is because I'm going to be adding water, which will turn this into paint, which means the colors are going to mix together. If the colors mix together, we want them to look good together. And the colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, aka analogous, they always look beautiful together. And analogous colors are the order of the colors in the rainbow. Ooh, am I talking fast? Did that coffee kick in or what, honey? All right, so I'm going to go all the way around my disco ball. And when I color, I'm not just making a little line of color, I made them nice and thick. You'll see why shortly. Now, if you want to write some sort of message, I'm using a crayon. I'm using a white crayon, as you can see here, and I'm writing time to shine. I probably, thinking back on it, probably should have used a slightly darker color of crayon instead of just white to write my time to, just because it doesn't really have a lot of contrast, which is a principle of art, as you probably will know, and it's a little bit tough to see, but that's okay. My masterpiece is still pretty awesome. Once you're finished, now let's paint the disco ball. So here's the trick. You've got to take your paintbrush and water and then just put a little bit of water around the edge of each one of those little rectangles or squares or whatever kind of funky shape they are. If you add just a tiny bit of water, it'll give you a light value. If you really paint over your marker lines and wake up the marker, turning it into paint, it will make a darker value. The key is to have a variety of values. Make some light, make some dark, leave some white. Yeah, right? Looks awesome. Now, in order to paint the rainbow, I'm just painting on top of my little swatch, we'll call it, of color. And that's why it's important to make that swatch of color pretty thick. What you're doing is you're building up enough marker on your paper to create paint. Paint over it and then just kind of drag it down. And look at how those colors blend so nicely together. Why did I say that was again? Oh yes, analogous. Say it with me. Analogous. That's, yeah, it's a little tricky to say. You'll get there. Once you're all finished painting around, I would definitely leave your masterpiece to sit and dry. It may look as though the colors aren't really coming out of the marker very well, but I've noticed that the longer you let it sit, the brighter and more vibrant it gets. And one little trick that I always seem to mention is grab some table salt, sprinkle a little bit on there, just a little bit, when you're done painting. What that will do is the salt will kind of pull the water out of your painting and leave these really cool little sparkles on your paper, which will be perfect for a disco ball. But it's important to let that salt completely dry before you wipe it off. All right, guys, I hope you have fun going to the disco with me. Baby, it's your time to, come on, there it is, shine.